Hello, everybody. It is now time for a reaction video from this Nintendo Direct. It's been 50 minutes, and I have to say that the start of it was a really, really big surprise. And I was sitting down with, and I sat down watching this with popcorn and some soda. My first guess was that the Direct was going to start out with the next Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC fighter, and it turns out that I was right about that. But what I did not even know was the fact that it was going to be Pyra and Mythra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I gotta say, this this next DLC fighter in the Volume Pack 2 is probably a very, very good DLC fighter. I mean, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the character was really, really good for a blade, and she had a bunch of specials that you could perform. They were actually really good, and when you changed to Mythra, she also had some very, very good special sets. And I just have to say, I never expected a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 character to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And there was a couple hints that gave it up. One of them was when you go to battle arenas or my songs or my music settings, there's the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 music in there. And that just gave, like, a bit of a hint there. Another one is you have the Pyra and Mythra icon that you could set as your profile image or icons in your battle arenas. And that was a few hints that, gave that off. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that this new DLC fighter is Pyra and Mythra. They are expected to release in March. The director, Mr. Sakurai, will be doing a presentation video as he does for every character that is announced in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So there's a lot of stuff to get out of this Nintendo Direct, and we've got a bunch of information on the new games that are coming out later 2021. Before I start discussing before I start discussing more information on this video, I have to say that because E3 is going digital this year, we should be able to find out more about what's going to happen beyond 2021. Or that and that and also that we should also have more details on the games that are coming out in 2022 at this digital E3. I'm surprised we had a Nintendo Direct in so long since the pandemic, and we've had like a bunch of series of Nintendo Direct minis. And I just want to hope that their repair services are back up and running soon, because I want to be able to get my drifty Joy-Cons fixed and repaired. I don't even know if they repair 3DSs at this point anymore and that stuff, because it's discontinued and they don't manufacture Nintendo 3DSs anymore. So I don't even know if you can get your 3DS repaired anymore, or even we use. But anyway, let's dive into the bit of information that we got out of this Nintendo Direct. So, I want to say I was not expecting to hear about Star Wars Hunter. What my expectations was Star Wars Commandos, but instead we got Star Wars Hunters, and wasn't what I was expecting, but it's the way I look at it. It's similar to like Jedi 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 Academy, which you can actually do more than just wield lightsabers. That's expected to come around in 2021. The other one that was surprising to me was Animal Crossing New Horizons coming out with a free update on having Mario themed items and that stuff. So that is something to look forward to. There were quite a few titles that were announced. One of them was a Demon Hunter game called Neon Light. That, to be honest, I'm not some kind of person who's hyped up for that kind of game, but it did look pretty good. But anyway, I'm sure fans were hyped up for that game. Apex Legends is a free-to-play game that's coming out in March, and it's on other platforms, PS4, PS5, PS4, and I just gotta say, that game looks very, very good first person shooter. Almost looks similar to Overwatch. So if you're looking for another first person shooter to add to your library, well, Apex Legend is the perfect game for you. It's also very similar to Paladins. And who doesn't like free games to add to their Nintendo Switch library? This game is expected to be 15 gigabytes. And when this game comes out in March, you can expect to have fun with this game, taking down other champions, and, you know, have that first person shooter experience in the game. Now, we also have what is like a street basketball or something that's coming to the Nintendo Switch. Or whatever. And that's not necessarily what hypes me up, other than some of my most some of my titles that I am most aware of. But if you're anybody like me, I'm mostly I'm the kind of player who likes fighting games and racing games and stuff, not so much sports. One of the games that is really exciting to me is the Mario Golf series. That back on the 3DS, it was Mario Golf World Tour, and that game was fun, but it was like a real time killer. And the one game that is coming back to the 3DS is Miitopia. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't. The it's it's good that they're bringing the 3DS content over to the Nintendo Switch. But I played Miitopia back on the 3DS, and it's very, very similar to Miiforce. Or, no, not Miiforce. Find Me. And I didn't really find the game that exciting that much, so if you're planning on getting Miiforce, don't be disappointed if you find out the game actually is not that exciting, because it's absolutely something that I did not expect in this Nintendo Direct that we've had. But even though we have not even had some great games appear in this Nintendo Direct that we may have expected but didn't get to see. That could be announced at the digital E3 in June. A lot of times at E3 is where they show off their the greatest games that they have coming out in the future. That's something to look forward to. So even though we've had a Nintendo Direct and we got a bunch of great titles that are coming to the Nintendo Switch, now the Nintendo Switch is getting a lot better since its released back in 2017, and I gotta say, it's becoming like one of the greatest consoles out in the market right now. It's even outsold the 3DS. And I gotta give Nintendo credit on making the Nintendo Switch because the Wii U is just like one big epic failure to Nintendo right now. But they have a lot of good games on the Wii U and that stuff. But you just can't take the Wii U on travel with you. The only one game that I did like on the Wii U a lot was Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. I wish they would have brought that game back up to the Nintendo Switch, but instead we got Sonic and All Star Sonic Team Sonic Racing. So the chances of us getting Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed on the Nintendo Switch isn't gonna really happen. Now, for those people who have expected Breath of the Wild 2 to be announced, like I said on Switch Planet, is to be announced for a release date. Yep. It takes a lot of time to make a video game. And because of the coronavirus pandemic, it's making it very, very harder. It makes it much harder to focus on making a video game during a COVID-19 pandemic. So you'll have to be extra patient with this. And a lot of people have to get the coronavirus vaccine in order to do stuff normally. And everything can get back to normal, back on track. And Nintendo can start getting back on track on trying to release these games a bit faster. And because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's kind of pushed these dates back. But the one game that we're getting a remake of is the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. And I have to say, I was kind of disappointed on how the graphics actually looked in that game. So I'm not really surprised with that. But yeah, people like The Legend of Zelda. So if it's a game that you people would like to pick up, Legend of Zelda series is really good. And if you like The Legend of Zelda, go for it. The Direct has ended with a very, very interesting title, and this has been floating around Splatoon 2 in people's posts for quite a while now. And that is the announcement for Splatoon 3. And I gotta say, the game looks very, very good. What's disappointing is that the game's going to be released in 2022. Now I can see why it'd be released in 2022. And that's because the game looks so good, it will need a lot of work from the people who are developing the game. And most importantly, when we get the Squids Research Lab will tell us more about the development of the game and what we can do in Splatoon 3, and it will give us a confirmed release date in 2022, and it could be sooner. I was expecting a holiday of 2020, holiday of 2020, or no, not 2020, I meant 2021, but they would need some time to develop the game. And this, like I said, was floating around Splatoon 2 for quite a while now. And this is one of the titles that have people really, really hyped up for Splatoon 3. And I'm sure it's supposed to look very, very good. And the Squid Research Labs will explain more when the time comes. And possibly that would get revealed during E3. It's possible. Not saying it's gonna happen. It could be around the end of the year. Who knows? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what was said here, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morris. And until my next video, have a good day. I will see you all later. And enjoy the rest of your day.